I've decided to come on here because I've been kicked off TikTok again. When am I ever not in trouble with them TikTok moderators? Every single one of them. Complete, utter Muppets, the works. Can't be dealing with them. Genuinely can't be dealing with them. So I thought I'd jump on YouTube. And I haven't done a YouTube live in too long. So I thought this was an opportunity. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, sister. How are we? Oh, I'm moaning about TikTok. They've stuffed me again. I've lost another account, and this time this one was quite innocently lost. This one was lost quite innocently. If I must be quite honest, I lost quite a few. No, I know they do it all the time. They do it all the time. Anonymous. I like. For me, it's been a good stint though. They haven't banned me for about 3-4 months. It was mid-June, July. I lost my other account, and during this uprun, it's been really good, really quiet. I haven't had any really slaps on the wrists. Yeah, but it is toxic. It's incredibly toxic. One of the things I've learnt and seen is that YouTube now has a go live together. So if and when I get my TikToks back, I'm going to start collaborating with lives with some of my Muslim friends on TikTok who have their own YouTube accounts. I think that's going to go down well. Where we're going to start talking about Muslim stuff where you can do and you don't have to worry about moderators constantly screaming about when you're talking about sensitive subjects, which can tend people absolutely batty. You know, you can be talking about real world politics and how difficult it is to communicate about them, and next thing you know, your life's gone. Your life's gone. So yeah, there's a new feature to YouTube that says go live together, and I think it's for linking YouTube accounts. And I think I'm looking forward to that. I think it's the first time I've seen it, and I think I'm going to make noise about it in the TikTok Muslim community, so we can start collaborating and sitting down and talking together. I don't know if it's only 2 people at the moment or if it's larger, but I think I am definitely interested in doing so. So as there's now 4 people in the room, that's like an entire room for me normally. My TikTok has been banned again. What's new? Nothing new when it comes towards me getting banned on TikTok. But that's just the nature of who I am. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I am going to promote it once I get my TikTok, my big TikTok account back. I'm going to gather a load of brothers together, and I think we're going to try this again. Oh, always. I'm always getting banned, sister. I'm the ban king. I've been banned more times than Scotty Lum, and that's quite a statement to say, because I don't know how to hold my tongue, and I will tell the woke exactly what the fuck I think of them, regardless whether people are offended by it. I tell the liberal ultra imbeciles I don't want anything to do with them, and I want them to leave us alone, and I want them to leave Islam alone, and they don't like that. They don't like being told fuck off, and that's blatantly what I've said multiple times. No, Scotty hasn't lost as many accounts as me. Ever since he got over the I think it was like 300,000 threshold, he's done really well. He's been able to hold on to his account, and getting up to 600,000. He still suffers bans, but he's always able to get his account back, which is frustrating because I would love to be able to build up to that kind of platform level. Yeah, sister. They're always in my business. They're always in my business. They started on an Abyssinian Christian friend of mine, who they give crap to all the time, and it gets frustrating as hell about how they behave. So yeah, feminists, wokes, the fruity community. Who else? Christians not so bad these times. Christians are getting a lot better on TikTok. They're less toxic than they used to be. There's still some toxic Christians, and there's a wave of toxic Muslims as well. We've still got a real problem in the toxicity of Muslims on TikTok. The people who self-identifiably police the sisters and have no justification behind it. It's a joke. Let the sisters police the sisters, problem solved. I am never marrying a feminist sister. I'd rather stay single. Cross the bridge and wave at all the feminists in the hellfires. You think I'm joking? I'm just going to sit there and wave at all the feminists in the hellfire. Dr. Zeus, salam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That's all I'm going to do. If I have to, I'm going to remain single. I'm happy. Man has Quran. Man doesn't need anything else. Quran, and if I can help it, coffee, Quran. I'm a happy man. Coffee and my Quran. I don't need anything else, sister. Nothing more complicated than that in life. If Allah blesses me with a righteous wife, alhamdulillah. But I am a content man. Very, very content. I have simple pleasures. Coffee, Quran, maybe the occasional strategy game if I'm feeling particularly bored of reading all the time. Talking about book suggestions, I've got a book suggestion for all of you. Just stay there one moment. So, to my noble peers, Islam Answers Atheism by Asran Rashad. I cannot suggest this book enough. It's beautiful. It does a brilliant work at rounding out many of the arguments that atheists use. I live in Gloucestershire. A historian. There's nothing wrong with my baked beans and tuna and cheese. Alright? There's nothing wrong with it. But I genuinely recommend this book to be given a read. Islam Answers Atheism by Asran Rashid. Brilliant book. Fantastic. Very, very well versed. The book holds many decent arguments against atheism, and I think that it's one of the reasons why atheists have dropped off my page over the last couple of months, where I've just refused to buy into their circular arguments and cut through it. Very, very good book. But yeah, social media is as toxic as it always has been. It hasn't changed. It hasn't gone out of its way to be a better platform, better social media issues. It goes out of its way to cause unnecessary haram, the things that some of the has everyone seen what Mia Khalifa has been saying on TikTok? A'udhu billah min shaitanir rajim. I don't even want to say that woman's name if I can help it. Mia Khalifa. A'udhu billah. Brother. A dirty porn girl. Dirty porn girl. Vile human being. Sits there screaming and criticizing Islam because we tell her, look, you want to do your thing, but don't bring our name in it. She's starting to lose her plot because Muslims are telling her like she's a dirty thing. But you want to dance with shaitan, get on with it, but don't bring us into it. Don't bring us into your circle of information. We don't particularly want to be a part of it, if we can help it. So, an anonymous sister, I remember you giving me Quran recitation things to say. Any suggestions anybody has for what I can try and read in Arabic today? Let's do a little bit of Quranic reading. It's always good. It's good for the soul. It's good for the soul. I think I will. It's not just ignoring her. It's the controversial thing she says. Like her brand is called Shaitan. Like she's just blah blah. And I don't even get what it is. She's not even a 5. I don't get what all these everyone's getting angry about. She's a 5 at best. I mean, a 6 once she's put her slap on. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. The girl is not worth the time or effort. But there's big money slagging off Islam. It's big money. People get paid and draw enormous support in this filthy dunya for insulting Islam. They do it all the time. And it's proven. I mean, it was what... Alhamdulillah. But I was thinking about that for quite some time. I'd lost my train of thought. You just disrupted my train of thought there, sister. It's always been big money. Yeah, that's right, big money. Big money to slag off Islam. It's massive in America. It's like one of my sisters said to me, if you ever lost faith, would you slag off Islam? I mean, no chance. I said, if I was to lose my deen, may Allah preserve me from doing so. If I ever lost my deen, I'd become quiet. My sister says I said to my sister, I'd drop off all social media. I said I would then go and rethink who I am. I said I absolutely wouldn't slag off Muslims. I said because that's such a cliche. It's such a destructive, undeterminable way to behave. I would be quiet, reflective, and find out where my path is without being disrespectful, because the Muslim community has been nothing but kind to me. The Ummah has been nothing but generous, kind, loving, and embracive, and that I love. And so even in the hypothetical, may Allah protect me for ever leaving the deen, but in the hypothetical situation I ever was to lose my faith, there wouldn't be some big announcement. It'd be a very quiet conversation with a couple of brothers who might pull aside a couple of sisters, but I don't think it's happened. I love the Quran. I love the Sunnah. I don't get lost when I'm reading hadiths. I don't worry about the context, because the context is written 1400 years ago and within the lifetime of our prophet. And I think the historian in me actually benefits from that in per se. You see, where people get lost, reverts get lost on the matters of hadith because they're coming from a secularistical worldview. But when you're classically trained in history, especially around Chalcedonic Christianity, you know not to take things out of time frame. You know what I'm saying? So the way that the Romans operated are ways that you would genuinely pay attention to in their respective time frames. As such, reading hadiths does not worry me in mispronunciation. If I get confused about words or terminologies, I obviously ask, but I don't get lost in the terms of the history behind it. And I think that's where many modern reverts have a problem, because they're always looking at Islam through the lenses of liberal Westernism. And I've never been a massive supporter of liberal Western society anyway. I fundamentally believe in the core values of what Islam stands for. I fundamentally believe that this should rule across the entire planet. I fundamentally believe that this and fiqh should be the legal structure that we build our societies on. And people get offended when a white Irish motherfucker like myself says that. And I said, well, have you read them? Have you read them from cover to cover? Do you understand the contextual behind it? Do you understand the reasons behind why I think the Quran, the Shira, and the Hadiths are necessary for the good of mankind? I said, because if you're only taking your liberal Western view in it, you have a very narrow view of what fiqh and Islam is. And you're projecting your Western views to it. So if you were to expand your understanding, read all of the contextual positions, you would then be able to move from a more conjectural point. And one of the arguments I had with a feminist on a live, I think it was a couple of days ago, she said to me, well, I don't need to. I said, yes, you do. I said, because if I critique feminism because I've read feminism. I critique Islamophobics because I know most of their content. I can very heavily critique Christianity because I do know how to be a Christian. I said, you cannot critique people if you don't understand them. And I said, your narrow viewing of Islam is so short that your criticism is almost worthless. And this caused the feminist proponent I had on the live to fall silent. She was a bit quiet. She's like, that's a fair point. I said, I don't misappropriate Christianity or even feminism, even though I don't like feminism in any way, shape or form. But I do know how to critique something when you learn about it. And I think that's a very critical position people seem to miss. You take a couple of quotes. It's like, I love the young men looking for their masculinity, but the Andrew Tate boys tend to take Andrew Tate's words a little too extreme without understanding what Stoicism is to start with. The basis of these young boys debating and defending Andrew Tate's behaviour should do so after reading things like Nietzsche, after reading things like Stoicism, after reading certain parts of Greek philosophy about how a man is supposed to behave in Western society at the bedrock of Western society. Because if these Western young men want to defend Abdul Tate, our beautiful brother, alhamdulillah, I'm overjoyed he's a Muslim. I hope he remains Muslim. I hope he remains on this Haqqanist deen. May Allah be pleased with him. May Allah be pleased with all of us. But I think young men need to learn more about Stoicism, about how to be good male role models before they act in a mentality that I just think it just overrates in how many of them do. Yes, I am. I am very happy he became Muslim. I think it was a noble. I think in many ways, and he is trying to fix himself, and he's going to less parties, and he's shutting down his worldly values, and he's selling his own. I found out recently Andrew Tate's selling his casinos, so he is moving away from his Haram businesses. So this is a very positive thing. Like I was skeptical until I saw that he was moving away from his Haram businesses. I was very, very skeptical until there was a notice involving his Haram business being sold. I think that's brilliant. I don't know if the sale is going to go through or if he's just looking for buyers or what it is. But the fact that he's prepared to sell his gambling sites, many of his online Haram effects. It's always hard for reverts. Reverts have it difficult all the time, and I have nothing but sympathy. And this is one of the reasons why I said people need to be patient with Andrew Tate, with Abdul Tate, because all honesty, he needs time. It was 6 months, 8 months before I even looked at Creed. It was a year and a half before I was even looking at which Maghreb I would realistically point myself to as I'm learning fiqh. So these things are not something you do overnight. You can't just say, oh, I'm this, and have no understanding of it. Islam requires reading, it requires absorption, it requires getting to know the truth around it. You can't just assume that you know Islam by its very nature. What do you put there, sister? Yeah, no, absolutely, sister, without a shadow of a doubt. Always a pleasure, historian. Always a pleasure. I'll probably be on for an hour, so I'm planning to be here till about 10 o'clock British time. And I'm happy to answer any questions anyone's got of the 5 people in the room. That's about to become 4. I'm more than happy to answer any of the questions. Other than my social media is absolute pants at the moment, which is mildly irritating. I apologise. I'm just jumping onto TikTok to see if I can actually draw any people onto see if I can try and bring people onto my live here on Instagram. Have a lovely evening, historian. What do I think of the whole Bella Chatti thing? Could you give me context, Sixter? Because I'm a little bit lost on specifically what you're trying to get at. Are we talking about Mia Khalifa's clothing line, or is that something else I'm missing? I'm missing content. Remember, I don't watch a great deal of television, or I only use the internet for intellectual reasons. So I apologise if I'm missing some measure of content. In fact, I probably spend more time on TikTok than I bloody well should, to be honest. This is a blessing. Getting banned is a blessing from Allah subhanahu. Reduce my TikTok time. So yeah, I need context, please, sister. Respectfully. On the question of what do you think of the whole Bella Chatti? Oh, I would love to come down to Leicester. I would love to come down to Leicester. Oh no, I saw that. No. That was from Count Deadlius. Certainly, Analytics S. I will get to that momentarily. If you'll give me a few moments. When I say toxically Muslim, I'm referring to toxic behaviour in Muslims that are unprophet-like in their behaviour. So I will give you a bit of a list. So yes, I did. I saw about it with the bear and the SMS garbage and the books. Count Deadliest was making a big song and dance about it. A'udhu billahi shaitana regime. And they the business fired the art director, whereas its owner builds life-size child dolls for pleasure. I want to. There is something wrong with the elite media society who think that they can do absolutely everything. The law applies only to small people, and that's unreal. It's unreal, and it's a disgusting thing. And justice is bought at their favourite pleasure. If you're a multi-millionaire, you can, once you reach more than 20, 30 million, justice is how powerful is your legal team. Once you reach a couple of 100 million, justice is purchasable. I mean, how many billionaires have we genuinely seen in our lives in court going down for any of this stuff at any time? I don't think anybody could even name the last billionaire that was in court. I know, it's vile, sister. A'udhu billahi shaitana regime. I'm looking that up now. Billionaires who have gone to jail. Alan Stedford, in 2012. He's the second largest Ponzi schemer after Ben Madoff. 2012, Stanford was sentenced to 110 years behind bars. Okay, it does happen. Ben Madoff, another Ponzi schemer. Okay. So there's about 7 billionaires behind bars. 7. What do I think about the naked Marvin? Don't know. That's horrible. So to answer the earlier question that you were asking, Assalam S, is the behavior of Muslims who don't act with adab. Okay? Now, Muslim TikTok has a great deal of energy about it, but in the rush to be the most controversial, to be the most hip, to be the most spoken about Muslim TikToker, people lose their adab so quickly. It was one of these things that my beautiful brother Mohammed Salis, the Sheikh, who does lives and doesn't really debate, but he more does talks. He's fantastic level of adab, absolutely up there, but his page is so small, relatively speaking, and yet he emulates the behaviour of our Prophet, whereas most of TikTok, and I'm as guilty as charged on this, I am not excluding myself from this, I can get irate, my language can be absolutely un-Islamic in its behaviour, and oh wow. So in essence, I find that people who don't have adab are incredibly quick to throw it onto the ground and run away and cause all kinds of fitna in and around the Muslim community. And they do it. And they do it for clicks. And they do it for likes. And it goes on, and it's all up and down. It's like for no reason, people like Brother Muhammad is another example. Somebody who takfires everyone in the Sleeper. This is the type of behaviour you shouldn't be engaging in. This is why TikTok is so incredibly toxic, because it encourages people to leave their adab behind. And I aspire to it, but I fail, and I fully accept that. But my goal is the adab that way. It's not my intention to be somebody who goes out of my way to be rude, and I've tried to curb it. I'm consciously aware of how I speak on the app more and more regularly on a daily basis. So you keep telling me, Ahmed. Yeah, it does. It does give quick fame, and it changes Muslims. It does. A'udhu billahi shaitan regime, and it needs to be talked about. I think people don't want to talk about it because when you mention the word adab, Muslims get really angry when you question their adab, And I know why they get it's a psychological effect. They know that it's a knock-on effect that they have to now look at themselves. And I've had angry DMs from it. Yeah, Brother Mohammed he's an absolute takfira. He's beyond the pale, Ahmed, beyond the pale. I've got no time for the man if I can help it. But every time I see him on my feed, he's spitting at somebody. He's attacking somebody. He's attacking another group. It's all he does. His entire app appearance is about attacking people. Yeah, he uses buzzwords like Wahhabi this, Wahhabi that, Wahhabi this, Wahhabi that. I'm like, what? Give me a definition of Wahhabi. I'd like to sit down and talk to the man about asking about his own day, but I don't think he's never answered me. Every time I've challenged his position, he has never ever answered me. Yeah, another Wahhabi. Because yeah, I know it's mad. It's madness. It's madness. You know, it's no one but Allah knows who is a Muslim and who isn't. Oh, no one but Allah knows who is a Muslim. I think that's one of the things that people don't say enough. No one but Allah knows who is a Muslim. That's just that's terrifying to realise that people don't grasp the conceptual position about that. He's one of them crazy ones that takfirs everyone. He's not a Brevi. He's one of the sects that are even crazier than the Brevids. Al-Abida, thank you, Ahmed. Al-Abida, and they go crazy. They're the mass takfirers, and I see him on TikTok, and his behaviour is A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim is the only word I can use for him. The man just attacks everyone and anything he can for as long as he can. Yeah, I know. This is the point. This is why takfiring should be done in the realms of scholars only, and that's enough. There are other criteria. There are I've heard multiple criteria behind it, and I don't know them. So I've stopped mentioning about the criteria or how to takfir because I'm told there are quite a few, and it depends on which groups of scholars you're talking to. But the key element is it's a group of scholars. They bring in all the evidence. They assess the evidence. I heard one scholar say that if even one evidence gives you doubt, I would say that the way some of our siblings on TikTok, or some of our beautiful Muslim siblings behave on TikTok, is very toxic. It's very destructive in how they present Islam, and they claim to be dawah pages, and I'm not. I'm genuinely not a dawah page. I'm passing my Islamic knowledge, what I know about Christianity. I don't claim to be a dawah page. I ain't getting married anytime soon, brother. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala finds me a righteous wife, or a wife I deserve, in His view. No. It's incredibly some of the worst Muslim communities out there. There are some really good Muslims. Let's not coat everybody in that brush. That's wrong. That's takfiring by itself. But there is an element of really toxic Muslims inside of TikTok Muslims, and that they can be very, very unapproachable in their behaviour. But they're not the rule of thumb. A good chunk of the Muslim community is very peaceful, very kind, very accepting, very, very enjoyable company to be around. But there are some incredibly and the problem being is they're very, very followed. They have a lot of clout on TikTok, which is a problem. Yeah, they've made Islamic sects cult-like. They turn their Islamic sects into almost cult-like behaviour and can't associate with each other. You know what I'm saying? And in the real world, Muslims don't operate like that. Do you know what I'm saying? But online, Muslims of different sects tend to go cultish and attack each other, regardless of which group they're from. And it's morally wrong, really morally wrong. Yeah, but in real life, we'll pray together. We will talk to each other. We will ask about business and family. It's only in the Western world. Wow. I just thought it was an online thing. I haven't seen... yeah, it probably is only a Western thing. I think it's crazy. There are bigger things in the world to be worrying about than something as silly as which sect we're from. I think that's just a ludicrous position that many Muslims need to try and move away from. Not disregarding their sex, but at least not using it as a means to attack each other in live view of every other human being. Yes, may Allah guide and protect us all. Alhamdulillah. Anastasia, yes, absolutely. May Allah guide and protect everyone. I absolutely agree with that. But I find that the way social media amplifies the worst traits in some people. My sarcasm is one of the things I get the most hits on, and it's kind of made me reflect that my sarcastic sense of humor is the thing that does the best on TikTok for me. It's not even my Islamic stuff. Yeah, I know they do. I know it's madness. I know it's madness. No, that's not a problem, Dr. Zeus. Not a problem. I wasn't aware of the particular thing. Eating. You're going to give me a turn, Dr. Zeus. My heart attack's going to give way. Oh, I'm gonna have one of them kind of moments. Fall on the floor as my ticker goes, or someone start mentioning, eating nastiness. Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. Deobandi scholars in Pakistan, have a massive following in Saudi Arabia. That's perfectly understandable. Yeah, no, it's you might be right, Ahmed. It's a Western kid thing. Yeah. We all know you're Deobandi into your family. And you're a Salifa, the cult of Wahhabianism. I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Joe. I know you're not, Ahmed. I'm teasing. I'm just teasing you. But yeah, the idea that the real world operates on what the micronisms of the internet is unreal. It seems to aggravate a great deal of the socialistically abnormalities that we have seen exasperate as people get more and more platformed. So when Muslims have grown to an extensible point, Alhamdulillah, I'll give my best to your family. He has, and this is what people don't realise. Historically, he had done a great deal of harm, but he did get rid of a lot of haram stuff as well. So you have to take it in historical context. This is why I don't like talking about historical figures out of context, because it always irritates me when people do that. But I've lost my train of thought. You keep doing this to me, Ahmed. Yeah, but the idea of social media people disregarding their normalities is a very key indicative to how they amplify their own personalities. So if I have 5,000 or 6,000 subscribers, let's say on TikTok, there will likely be an echo chamber of some degree. But if you were to have Scotty Lum's number, could you imagine some of these Adeb people having Scotty Lum's 500,000-600,000 subscribers? It'd be madness, absolute madness. Could you imagine Mohammed Hijab? I mean, brother Mohammed. His TikTok echo chamber is insane. Like he's screaming takfir into the walls, and everyone's clapping and liking what he's doing. I get the impression the Christians are propping him up as well. Oh yeah, I know. ISIS uses him as a role model. This is one of the key reasons why I think his works are incredibly controversial. What he did against the bid'ah inside of the Holy Land of Islam I absolutely understand. But what he did in the cities and what his students did and the extreme measures he went to, I think that might have been too far. I fundamentally think that was too far. Especially in some of the things that he was attempting to achieve in cleaning up the Holy Land and much of its contentable reasonings and material. I'm more than open for questions if anyone's wanting to ask me something or just inquire of other things. Oh, excuse me. Well, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Disgusting yawn. Oh, starting to flag a little bit. This is why I want to try those go lives together, and I've got someone in mind that I'm going to do it with first. I think it'll do brilliantly, and then we'll get some proper lives open, because I feel like I'm talking to a screen. Yeah, no, it's always a pleasure, sister. Surah Muslim 1744b. Fair enough. I always feel that I'm talking to a screen. No, I know you are. Go live with Jordan. I'd love to. I'd love to go live with Jordan. I might even make a suggestion of do a go live with Jordan. I think that would be brilliant, especially on YouTube. But I think I'm going to have to WhatsApp him for the suggestion, and I think that would do wonders, because I think networking Muslims and drawing away the Muslim community from TikTok is a good thing, because the moderators on that app are just beyond. I don't know, to be honest, Ahmed. I don't know. I haven't seen you live in a very, very long time, brother. Don't bring the clout. You're one of them quiet. You're one of them quiet boys, anyway. That's why. I mean, you keep your circle small, and that's a good point to hold. Keep your people loyal, and the people you have around you circle small, so you don't have to think about who the fakers are. You can work them out from how small your circle is. Small circles are the people who have their brain switched on, know what they're doing. But I think 40 minutes is probably going to be my lot, because I don't know if I can possibly hold out for a full hour today. But I do think that's a good suggestion of asking Jordan to. Yeah, no, I can believe it, Ahmed. My circle's only about 6. My people I'm ready to sit down and talk to. Yeah, no, it's good advice. Very good advice. I keep my circle as small as possible. I think it's about 5 to 6 people I really trust, who I would talk about. They're all blokes, the whole lot of them. I don't talk about my business with women, and I didn't do even when I was back in Christian. It was just it's women that are not built to deal with men's problems. I know that's horrible to say, but it's true. Nah, man, your classmates are never your friends. Your classmates are never your friends. But in essence, keeping your circle small is a good way of learning how to manage disappointment, and that's a reality in life, in managing disappointment, especially in social structures. You're only friends with them because you have to see them every day. No, absolutely. School, I haven't thought about school, I meant before. Like, last time I thought about school, you probably weren't born. That's how long ago it was for me. And I don't mean college or university, I mean actual school. To be loved by the Shaitana regime. 15 years ago. No, 25 years ago, what am I talking about? That is a long, long time since I've been to school. Classmates, co-workers are no different. Co-workers, they're treacherous people. They say you got your back, and yeah, walking red flags. Morocco won. Morocco won. Alhamdulillah for Morocco. Did not know that. Alhamdulillah for Morocco. Nice. Does that mean they're through to the quarterfinals? It's good. It's good. They beat Spain. Yeah, they're into the quarterfinals. I thought that was the case. I didn't know they were into the quarterfinals. I hadn't watched the match myself. That's good. That's good. What, Spain? Andalus. Trust you, Ahmed. Naughty. Anyway, I'm going to split. It's been a pleasure having everyone on for this live. 40 minutes is pretty good. I'm probably going to do another live later on this week, probably around Thursday. Behave yourself, Ahmed. Yeah, the country and the economy can go. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's been a pleasure having everyone. Thank you all for coming for my live.